it takes a while for you to get to a position to where you don't care what people think about you. It takes some time to get there. Reason being is because I know you may hear a lot of people say, who cares what they think? Who cares what they say? Yada, yada, yada. But it's easier said than done. A lot of people, they say this, but if they were in your shoes, going through what you were going through, you know, fighting whatever you're fighting, because everyone's obstacle is different, right? It wouldn't be easy for them to say that. You know what I mean? And it does take some time. This is why when people tell me what they're going through something, I try my best to put myself in their shoes in that moment just to see how they feel, because you never know how people are feeling. You never know what battles they're fighting behind the scenes. So sometimes we got to be careful with the, you know, who cares, ignore, because we don't know what type of battle someone's fighting, and it could come across as we're brushing things off, right? So it takes a while to get to that position to not care what people think, because if you're a good person at heart and you are authentic at heart, you know what I mean? Sometimes you want to make sure that whoever says anything negative about you, or whoever thinks anything negative about you, you want to make sure that you're not hurting them, or you want to make sure that you're not actually doing something wrong. So sometimes you do take accountability and take specific things into consideration. Even if you're not doing anything wrong, you take it into consideration. But it can also be very dangerous to do that, because if you continuously take things into consideration even when you don't need to, you could start gaslighting yourself and blaming yourself. So there's balance to it, and it just depends, right? However, when you have a big heart, that's what happens. You tend to care, because you care about everyone's feelings, everyone's reactions. You never ever want anyone to think something that's not true about you, or about what you did, or whatever. You never want anyone to just continue on their life thinking this without clarifying or without giving them any type of explanation. But like I said, there's balance, and there's a different type of it depends, right? It depends. But once you get to a place in your heart, your spirit, and once you get to a certain level of your relationship with God, to where you answer to God and He tells you you're good, you know, you're good, and everything's going okay, you tend to, after a while, start not to care. And it's not that you're a bitter person or a bad person, but after some time you start to get used to it, and it's kind of like you don't care anymore, and it takes time to get there. And when you start getting to a place to where you're like, you know what, I don't care, because I can't please the world, I can't explain who I am as a person to every single person that crosses my path, I can't prove myself to every single person that crosses my path. Once you come to that realization that you're not a superhero, you may have superhero powers, but you're not a superhero. You get what I'm saying? Once you come to that realization that you're not God, and you can't please every single person that comes in your presence, or steps in your presence, or you're in their presence, you can't please everybody, then you'll start to understand that it's okay to not have to explain yourself. It's okay to not care what people think about you. Reason being is because it's not that you have a bad heart, but you came to that understanding of you can't please everybody. You came to the understanding of some people are ignorant. You came to the understanding of it's only God that you have to please at the end of the day. Not man, but God, right? And when you come to that understanding, it becomes a lot easier for you to continue on with your journey. And it becomes a lot easier to be happy, and for you to smile a lot more. Okay? But it takes time to get to that place. So if you're still at that place where you're like, oh my gosh, it does bother me sometimes here and there, it does frustrate me here and there, that's okay too. That's okay too, because that is still a part of your journey. That's a part of you learning how to cope with it. That's a part of you learning that it's only God that you need to answer to. That's a part of you learning that you can't please everybody. You have to go through that to come to this type of understanding, right? So it's okay. And everyone is moving at their own pace. You get what I'm saying? Everyone is moving at their own pace. You know? So as long as you're healing, as long as, because after some time, it's like you start to receive proof. After some time, you start to receive proof, and then you realize, wow, I do this a lot. Wow, I shouldn't really care. Wow, this person was wrong about me. That person was wrong about me. Wow, God is saying He is happy with me, right? After some time, when you start to realize it's a pattern, you start to get used to it. You start to get mature, and then you just don't care anymore. You know. So I say this to say, I don't want to say don't care what people think about you, because I don't know where you are in your journey. But I will say this. When you take things into consideration, make sure you always get validation from God, and make sure you are not beating yourself up over someone else's opinion about you. Make sure you're not beating yourself up over someone else's thoughts about you, feelings towards you. See it as they're entitled to their opinion, they're entitled to their feelings, they're entitled to their thoughts. And I don't ever want to upset anybody and put anyone in a position to where they have to continue walking on their journey, feel some type of way about me. But I'm going to go to God and get a response from God to validate, or confirmation to confirm exactly why they're feeling this way, or to get confirmation to see if I did anything wrong. And that's how you have to see it. And after some period of time, you keep doing that, you'll realize if you're the problem, or you'll realize if it's just something going on with the enemy. And then after some time, you start to grow and get mature in it, you'll learn. You'll start to learn. You know? You start to learn. And I noticed that you'll be a lot more happier in life when you just don't care. When you accept it. Not that you don't care, but you more accept it. You accept anything. You accept every and any opinion about you. You accept it. Because you know why? Because you know the truth. And because you know who you are. And no one's going to know you better than you know yourself. And no one's going to know you better than God knows you. That's all you have to remember. Love you guys. Bye.